Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Beth, and I recently finished reading Room by Emma Donoghue. This book was published in 2010 and is about 300 pages long. There is a film of the same name and premise that came out in 2015. I have not seen this film as of yet, so I will provide no insight into that film. This will solely be based off the novel and my opinions of it. So, this is actually a very easy read. I think the premise is absolutely lovely. I think that the story that it is exploring is very nuanced. It's centered around a woman's worst nightmare. Essentially, a young woman was walking home from school and was abducted by an older man. She was 19 years old. By school, I mean college. And this is the aftermath of that. You don't actually get to see said abduction, and I think that it's really purposeful to see the kind of life that this woman has had to make for herself. The book is actually from the viewpoint of her child, who was bred in captivity. And I think that does lessen the blow. I don't think there's really any true trigger warnings to this novel, so you've been warned about the premise, but the actual actions and what is shown, I don't think should cause anyone, too ill of emotions. I do think that it is slightly surface level due to the fact it's from Jack's standpoint. Jack being her son, the little boy that has been living in this kind of world his whole life. Essentially, he's just stuck in a room, what the novel is named after, with his mother, and he has been emotionally crippled and mentally crippled in a way, handicapped at least, due to the fact that he has limiting, I would say, development factors. He can't really develop many great social skills. He's not polite, so to speak, because he's never had to learn what exactly manners are. He doesn't know what a family is, and he's not sure of what's real and not real. He may be intelligent. He may be able to count and add and subtract, but he can't think of, is a plane real? Is a car real? These are just vague ideas to him. How does a person actually relate to himself? What kind of empathy can this 5-year-old have? Though I will say most 5-year-olds aren't the most empathetic because, they haven't really learned to... They are sentient, but they haven't learned really that there is a person outside of themselves that may have, different feelings in themselves, I will say. So I think that may be true to form, may be true to developmental factors. I want to see the woman's standpoint, though. I wish that this was a split novel. I wish that you got to see the mother's standpoint and all the complexities of how she's had to survive, because you do see these wonderful creations that she has made. You get to see Egg Snake, and you get to see, them making spaceships, and they have such limited resources because they're captives, and their captor will only give them what he wishes to give them. And, he has all the power. He can shut off the power. He can deny them food. He can hurt them. He can, physically violate them. There is no stopping somebody who is physically larger than you if you are, under these kind of circumstances. And I think that it's really unfortunate that this book has, such genuine standpoint to it. Everything that you see in here is highly realistic. I do think that it's all very surface level because it's from a 5-year-old standpoint, but in fact, there is always this genuine line. I see how everybody's reacting in the novel, and I see all the characters' line of reasoning. You even get to see Jack's 5-year-old ramblings at times, and, his obsession with his mother's boobs because he's still being breastfed, which is, mind you, a smart choice because limited resources, more milk for the child, because once again, that man only really wanted one person in there. So you do see basically everybody being their true selves. I don't look at these characters and have to suspend, my disbelief. I can just look and think this could possibly happen. And it's heartbreaking. And I think it's even touched upon a little bit in the novel. The mother thinks to herself, there are much worse stories than myself. She's no hero. She's no, I would say a larger than life figure. You just kind of do what you can to survive. And I think the fact that she's raised a relatively healthy son is nothing to laugh at. I do love that it is written in modern day because there's certain things that are just jarring to the brain whilst reading. You can be looking at this and thinking, oh, the son has this huge kinship with Dora. That's his best friend, other than his mother, of course. And, he comes up and he hugs her and he speaks to her. And you're thinking to yourself, this could be happening right now. And I think it's unpleasant to think about, but at the same time, it is a story that should be touched because it is beautiful in the ways of just the human spirit, how much it can prevail in such, extenuating circumstances. I do think that this book is worth reading. I just wish it was written slightly better. I know it might seem like I'm being a literary snob. I just think that there is such beauty to the English language and the way things can be lyrically written that I want to see how far it can delve into a human psyche. And I don't necessarily need to see when the mother was captured, but I want more of an explanation to how she is the way she is, because she goes away for certain points in time and mentally is just gone. And I want to know what brought on those triggers and how it came to be like that. And was it, a constant effort for her not to delve into that kind of helplessness or not? So I will say this, I think that this is a recommendation for me, a softer one than I've previously had other recommendations, but it's so easy to read, and I think that the premise will carry you enough that it's worth the time. Thank you for watching my review. Have a good one.